How's it going, everybody? Daner here with North Central Coins, and welcome back to another episode of the most rare and valuable coins in Canada. Today we're going to be discussing a Looney variety that can be worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars that you probably had no idea existed. Because this is a fairly modern coin, and the Canadian Loonie or dollar coin is so widely used and accessible, it makes looking for this rare variety pretty simple. In this video, we will explore the historical context surrounding the production of this coin and delve into why it holds such importance in Canadian numismatic history. Additionally, we will discuss the distinguishing and identifying features, its significance among collectors, and also potential value if you were ever to find a legitimate example. Before I do get into this, I would really appreciate if you guys would hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also hit that bell notification so you can follow along with my new videos as they are being released. Also, make sure to stay to the end of the video if you guys would like to find out how much you could actually get for this coin if you were to ever stumble upon one. Then without further ado, what do you say we get right into it and discuss the 2010 large bead Looney? Let's get it, guys. So before we get into the 2010 large bead Looney and discuss its identifying factors and value, I want to tell you guys some of the history and also an interesting story about the Canadian $1 coin. In most cases, because the Looney was put out for circulation as recent as 1987, there aren't too many dates or examples that are worth much more than face value, but the value of these coins will definitely increase over time, and the more you know about them, the better idea you will have of what to look for. The Looney, often known as the Canadian $1 coin, is a gold-colored coin issued by the Canadian Mint at its facility in Winnipeg. It was first launched in 1987. The common loon, a bird widespread across Canada, is depicted on the reverse of the coin's most frequent varieties, while Queen Elizabeth II, who was the head of the state at the time during the piece was issued, is depicted on the obverse. Over the years, other commemorative and specimen set editions of the coin have been produced, each one featuring a unique and colorful design in place of the loon on the reverse. Now, some of the specifications for the Canadian $1 coin: the Looney has an 11-sided polygonal shape. Its dimensions are 26.5 millimeters in diameter and 1.95 millimeters in thickness, which are nearly identical to those of the already in use Susan B. Anthony dollars from the United States, which have a 2.0 millimeter thickness. The color and shade of the Susan B. Anthony dollar was silver, but the succeeding Sacagawea and presidential dollars were gold, matching the Looney's overall shade. The 7-sided British 20 and 50 pence coins are other examples of coins that employ a non-circular curve of constant width. Following its introduction, the coin evolved into a slang name for the Canadian dollar. For instance, the media commonly discusses the Looney's exchange rate to other currencies. The Royal Canadian Mint bought the Looney's nickname trademark in the year 2006. The term toonie was given to the Canadian $2 coin when it was first introduced in the year 1996, so we have the Canadian $1 coin, the Looney, and the Canadian $2 coin, the toonie. On March 25, 1986, the government declared that the dollar bill will be phased out and that the new dollar coin would be introduced the following year. The initial 300 million coins were anticipated to cost $31.8 million to produce, but it was also predicted that the difference between the cost of production and the coin's value would generate up to $40 million annually from the coins. The 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary were funded with a total of $60 million from the earnings spread over 5 years. Originally, when concept and design of the Looney first begun, it was planned that the coin would continue using the Voyager theme of its predecessor, but the master dies that had been struck in Ottawa were actually lost in transit to the Mint facility at Winnipeg. The Mint had delivered the master dies via a local courier in an effort to save $43.50, according to a Commons Committee formed to look into the loss. However, the Mint had no written policies or procedures for the transportation of master dies. Additionally, it was discovered that the mint master had passed away 3 times in the previous 5 years. Although it was standard practice to ship the obverse and reverse dies individually, the new coin dies were packaged separately but delivered as a single shipment, according to a Royal Canadian Mint internal assessment. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police claimed that the dies were simply misplaced in transportation, but the Canadian Mint disagreed, insisted that they were actually stolen, though they were never found. The government approved a new reverse design, replacing the Voyager with a Robert Ralph Carmichael illustration of a common loon floating in water out of concern over possible counterfeiting. In Quebec, the coin acquired the nickname Huard, which is French for loon, and it was soon referred to as the Looney across English Canada. On June 30th, 1987, 40 million loonies were introduced into significant cities all around the nation. By the coin's 20th anniversary, over 800 million loonies had been produced. The Bank of Canada stopped producing the $1 notes after a 21-month period, during which they were printed alongside the loonie. On June 30th, 1989, the final dollar bills were printed, although there was some initial resistance to the coin.
I think it stinks.
Why?
You realize how heavy a woman's wallet or purse is going to be?
It's going to get mixed up with other coinage and cause all kinds of problems. Another bad idea.
I hate it.
I prefer the bills, truthful. I just not because it's bulky in the pocket.
The withdrawal of the banknote forced acceptance. Eventually, the loonie became well known and is today regarded as a national emblem in Canada. Since then, the name loonie has come to refer to the Canadian dollar itself. In 1992, Robert Ralph Carmichael's hometown of Echo Bay, Ontario, created a sizable loonie monument in his honor alongside the road, akin to Sudbury's Big Nickel. So now that I've given you guys some of the story behind this extremely iconic Canadian coin, what do you say we discuss the 2010 large bead variety loonie, which if found in a high-grade state can be worth some really good money. Now there were 4 different designs put out for circulation in the year 2010 for the Canadian $1 coin. The large bead variety can be found on the regular loon reverse design. The other reverse designs feature the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, a Navy commemorative, and also one for the Vancouver Olympics. The large bead loonie is referred to as a Type 1 and the small bead is considered Type 2. There are several ways to check for the large beads on this coin, the easiest of which should be to flip over to the obverse and look at the A in Elizabeth. If it's the large bead, the A should point directly to a bead. You can also look at the I in Regina, and the I should point between the denticles. If you can identify both of those factors, then you have the large bead loonie, and that's the one that you are looking for. So let's discuss the value of this coin. Unfortunately, there aren't too many loonies out there to look for that you can retire from at this point, but when it comes to collecting, sometimes you have to play the long game. Just because a coin isn't worth a fortune today doesn't mean that it can't easily change. The 2010 large bead loonie isn't worth much more than face value in a low-grade state. I'm sure you could all sell one for a premium if someone really wanted to fill a hole in their collection or album. Even at an MS65, it is only worth around $50. If you were to find one in a higher grade, you could easily see some price jumps. I wouldn't doubt that you can maybe get or sell one if it graded around an MS67 for $300 or more. It feels crazy to say that 2010 was 13 years ago, but in terms of numismatics, that is nothing, and because this loonie is so modern, it makes finding high-grade examples much more possible. So even though you won't get rich off of this loonie if you find one of them coin roll hunting or in your pocket change today, it is still a good one to pull out and keep off to the side, especially if it is in a really good condition. You could send it off to be graded by a company like PCGS or NGC, and then you could turn around and sell it for a profit at either your local coin shop or maybe eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Those are the best places usually to buy and sell coins. I have people ask me that all the time. Now, what do you guys think about this 2010 large bead loonie? What would you ever do if you found a legitimate example, or if you have ever found any coins similar to the one discussed in this video? Let me know down in the comments. Also, I would really appreciate if you guys would hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also hit that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new content as it is being released. But I think that is pretty much going to do it for this one, folks. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. But until the next one, peace out and have a good one, y'all.